Hey there, Fletcher from All Things Overlanding here, and today on this episode of the podcast, it's getting towards the end of 2024, and so, people start to think about regrets. They start to think about, things they wish they'd done that year. So I wanted to talk a little bit about overlanding and why I think it's incredibly important to have some sort of a hobby or something like overlanding that you're passionate about to avoid regrets later in life. So, there are a lot of people that talk really negatively about overlanding, that it's a scam, that it's a grift, all this stuff, right? I wanted to talk about it in a more positive light today and kind of some of the fun things that I've learned from overlanding, some of the fun experiences that I've had, and why I do it. And part of that is because as I get older, I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to look back on my life and be like, I poo-pooed on the idea of overlanding or camping and I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have because I bought into that negativity online, right? So again, I'm going to walk you through my thoughts on this a little bit today. But if you are one of those folks that is kind of tired of all the negativity around overlanding and things like that, I hope that this episode is interesting for you. I hope that you sort of get some ideas out of it that maybe get your brain, thinking a little bit more positively about overlanding, and it helps you enjoy it more, right? So let's get into avoiding regrets and how overlanding can help with that.
Understand where it came from, but you got it, my got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, so as I mentioned in the intro today, I am just being, sort of introspective. I'm thinking back on 2024. I'm thinking back on the last 6, 7, 8 years that I've been even aware of what overlanding was and how it's kind of changed everything as far as the way that I do things, the things that I do in my spare time, the fact that I started a YouTube channel that has grown and continues to grow. All of this stuff came from me accidentally, basically finding some stuff on YouTube that talked about overlanding when I was first trying to build a 4-wheel drive vehicle into an off-roader, right? So, for those of you going way, way back, when I used to have my Xterra, I actually bought that just as a winter daily was kind of my goal with that. I wanted something a little bit fun. I'm a Nissan guy, so the Xterra made sense. And I was actually planning just to build it like my old Jeep Cherokee that I had, where I was going to put a lift on it, bigger tires. I was just going to off-road it, right? I just wanted to go to off-road parks. I wanted to wheel it. That's kind of what my goal with it was. And then the more that I started to look into modifying Xterras for off-road, I stumbled upon a bunch of different videos that kind of led me down the rabbit hole that is, or was at that time, overlanding, right? And that's changed a lot in the last 7, 8 years since I first found it. When I first found it, there was nobody making content about it except the Expedition Overlands, the Mountain State guys, Lifestyle Overland. There were 3 or 4 channels. Trail Recon was around. There were a few big channels like that, but there wasn't really any little guys like me making stuff, especially for newbies. So everything was super aspirational, right? Everything was you got to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. You need to get sponsors. You need Toyota to be giving you Forerunners and Tundras and stuff, and then you need all this gear and you need all this stuff to do it. So I was broke. I was a younger man then. It was so long ago, right? I wasn't making as good money as I do now. And so I was like, how do I build this Xterra as cheaply as possible? And I did a spacer lift on it. I did, absolutely no name brand tires on it. I literally just did the cheapest stuff that I could get. I built my own drawer system for the thing. I was using a 30 amp hour AGM battery because it was way cheaper than a LiFePo 4 battery. Again, especially back then, LiFePo 4 batteries were really expensive in the olden days before they've kind of gotten more efficient with them and prices have come down. But so, that got me into it. And being budget minded about it, I think was actually really good. That was a great way to start. And that's why I still to this day kind of focus on that. And I focus on newer folks on this channel, because I think that there is a lot of misinformation out there. I think there's a lot of bad information out there. I think there's a lot of people that are, kind of creating this idea that you have to have a bunch of really pricey, really expensive gear. And in some cases, the expensive stuff actually saves you money in the long run, right? I don't want to say that you should never buy expensive gear or never buy good stuff. I have a good sleeping bag. I have Hest stuff in my rooftop tent, and that has changed the way that I sleep. In some cases, it is worth it to spend more money. So, but being budget just means, effectively sort of directing your money into the things that it makes sense to spend more money on and then saving in other places. So, but before we go off onto a million different tangents here, though, the main focus of this episode is to talk about overlanding and regrets. And what I mean by that is, like, again, on all these Facebook groups, on all these forums, on the comments on YouTube videos and stuff, there's just so much negativity. There's so many people saying it's just car camping, it's just that, it's whatever. And I've talked about this before. I don't care what the term is. Call it whatever you want. I call it overlanding because that's the best search term to find the videos that you want, I think, on YouTube. If you call it car camping, you get different types of videos. If you call it van life, you get different types of videos. Overlanding encompasses what I like to do, which is vehicle-dependent travel, right? So call it car camping, call it just camping with a vehicle. I don't care. None of that stuff matters, but there is just this overwhelming sense of negativity. There's all these negative comments. There's all these negative posts on Facebook. You know, somebody comes in and they're brand new and they say, hey, I want to go overlanding. What do I need to buy? And instead of people saying, listen, man, get out with what you got. You don't have to buy a bunch of stuff. Instead of that, they say, well, when I was a kid, it was just called car camping. Or, you know, I mean, like things that provide absolutely no value. They don't give anyone any help. They're just super negative and over the top. People just like to come in and crush other people's dreams for some reason. I don't know why that excites people or gets them off, but that seems to be the way that it is. So this is kind of the opposite of that, where what I want to say to you guys and girls is, like, don't let those people crush your dreams, right? Like, I will say, you don't have to spend a bunch of money. You don't have to have a super specialized rig. Like, you don't have to have a giant, huge 4x4. You don't have to have 35-inch tires, right? Like, you could go out in a Prius, you could go out in a RAV4. You know, I've gone out in a lowered Lexus before and had a heck of a fun time camping and had a great time getting there. And, you know, that there's no rules around it. The main thing is just that you have a vehicle that you're dependent on, and then that's what you camp out of, right? And I'm building my truck to be as self-sufficient as possible, which also gives me other benefits in my, like, daily life. Like, if I need something to be thrown in a fridge, I've got a refrigerator in my truck. If I need first aid, I've got first aid in my truck, right? Like, having some of these things that I use for overlanding and camping are also just beneficial in, like, daily life. My kid gets a cut at a soccer game, I can have a Band-Aid to put on him, whereas I may not be as prepared otherwise. But so, like, my thing is, I don't want you guys to regret, you know, giving into peer pressure and either spending too much money or giving into peer pressure and maybe not even ever trying overlanding because, you know, everybody is so negative about it. Okay. So that's kind of where this idea came from. I was, you know, thinking about that. Again, it's kind of getting tired at this point. I'm kind of getting, after all these years, annoyed with all the people that all they want to do is talk negatively about it, because, again, you know, I'm mid-40s. So at my age, I look back over the last few years and I'm like, man, I'm so glad that I found overlanding randomly, right? Like, because I love camping. I love off-road driving. I like autocrossing. I like anything to do with vehicles. I like modifying vehicles. I like customizing them. I like the looks that I get when I pull up to pick up my kid from a sporting event and people are like, what is happening with this dude's truck? He's got all this stuff strapped to it. It's lifted. It's got these big tires. It's muddy, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, I don't do it for just that sake. I think that's kind of the difference. And that's what does draw a little bit of ire from people, a little bit of negativity, is that, you know, people think, oh, you're just strapping all this stuff to your truck to look cool or to look like an overlander. I actually do go out and go camping as much as I possibly can. Probably, you know, at least a few times a month. And I have a full-time job and now I have a YouTube channel. So I'm working a lot, but every single chance that I get this weekend, it's going to be in the single digits and teens. I'm going out for 2 nights, 2 days. I'm going to spend as much time in the woods as I possibly can, just enjoying it, you know, living out of the truck, basically being fully reliant on my vehicle and the stuff that I built into the truck. But again, where I'm going with this is, like, I sit here and I look back over these last few years and I'm like, man, I'm so glad that I found overlanding and that I've gotten into it, because I've gotten to do such cool things. I mean, I got to go to Wyoming for 2 weeks with a bunch of people that are now my friends, right? We built relationships. We got to see amazing sights. We got to go from, you know, a few thousand feet of elevation up to like 11,000 feet of elevation, and changes from day to day. Just saw some of the most amazing stuff. We went over the Tetons for a day. We just literally made a decision one day, like, hey, tomorrow we should drive 4 hours over to the Tetons and see the Grand Tetons. And that was life-changing, right? Like, amazing, beautiful, beautiful mountains, stuff I've never seen being from the Midwest, right? So while you can sort of crap on it, right? And while you can say like, oh, you have to deal with this, built truck every day when you drive your kids to swimming or you go to work or whatever. And why would you do that? Why would you modify your daily driver to be an overlander? It's because of those moments, right? Like, as much as I would love to go to Wyoming every month for 2 weeks, work half the month and then go to Wyoming, I can't do that. So sometimes it is just camping. Sometimes it is just car camping. Sometimes it's just an overnight. Sometimes I've had to go to like an actual campground where you have like a spot. I don't love that stuff, but it's still better than being at home, sitting in your room, complaining on the internet about how everyone else sucks and overlanding is just car camping and, just being negative. So again, this is a little bit of a ramble here because I'm a little bit, annoyed, I guess, over all this time of sort of seeing the same things over and over again about people being negative. But I want you guys the message I want to convey, I guess, is I want you guys not to have these regrets, right? Like, again, I haven't let any of this stuff stand in my way. I ignore all the haters online. I don't really care what people think. If, somebody's like, oh, your truck is dumb and you got all this stuff on it. Okay, whatever. The people that get it, the people that do go overlanding, the people that do go camping, dispersed camping, when you meet up with those people at like Rigs and Coffee, or when you're talking to someone and that you see in the grocery store, I've had people approach me and be like, what's that thing on the roof? And they don't know anything about overlanding, but they're just fascinated and they think it's really cool. Or they see me putting a gallon of milk in my fridge to, take it home. And they're like, is that a refrigerator? Like, that stuff to me makes it all worth it, right? Like being able to go out and do this stuff, being able to see the things that I've seen, build the relationships that I've built, even going to expos, right? Expos are a different thing. They're not really camping. They're not really overlanding at all. They're kind of the opposite of that, right? Like you're in an established place. Like when I went to Overland Expo East, there were food trucks and stuff, and I was in a field. So it's not really overlanding at all, but it was so neat to see other people's builds, to see how people approach this, to see how people are creative with things, right? And like, again, I could say, don't go to Expo. It's so negative. It's such a bad experience, right? You're going to see all these multi-$100,000 trucks out there, and you're never going to be able to get there. You're never going to be able to afford it. I mean, you could go that route, right? But what I would encourage is don't let the negativity win, right? Don't make yourself feel like you're not sufficient enough to be an overlander because your truck's not fully built out. Don't, buy into that hype and think, well, I have to go to overseas. I have to go to Africa, or I have to go to another country for it to technically be overlanding. Do not let that get you down, because again, even though a lot of what I do is camping, right? It's just normal dispersed camping. When I do get to go on like a 2-week trip to Wyoming, and I am truly relying on my vehicle for those 2 weeks, it's so worth it, right? And again, even just the camping and stuff, just getting out, being able to enjoy nature, building these friendships, building these relationships, breaking up the monotony, right? Getting to get away from your daily life, getting to get away from work and stress and things like that is totally worth it. And I don't regret anything. And that's what I love about overlanding, is that it has helped me find something that I'm passionate about, something that I enjoy a lot, something that now after all these years I've learned, and I feel like I actually have some experience that I can share with people, right, via the YouTube channel and the podcast. So it's definitely changed my life for the better. And I encourage you guys to give it a shot too, if you aren't already. And if you are, awesome. But again, don't let the negativity get you down. You make your own decisions based on your budget, based on your life, based on what makes sense for you. Even me, don't listen to me. Like if I say, hey, you should do this thing, you don't have to do anything anyone says on YouTube, anything anyone says on a podcast, anything anyone says in real life to you. You make your own decisions that make you happy and help you avoid regretting things, right? So that was kind of where my mind was going as the year wraps up here. So I hope that kind of, inspires some thoughts in you that, again, if you've been sort of holding off, or if you've been thinking I can't go on a trip because I don't have X, Y, and Z pieces of gear, or if you're thinking like, oh, I see all this negativity online, maybe I'll take my traction boards off, or whatever. I don't have traction boards on my truck, but maybe I'm just not going to have a rooftop tent on 24/7 because I don't want to look like a Foverlander, right? Don't worry about what everybody else is saying or doing, right? Just get out and enjoy yourself so that you don't end up 45, 50, 60 years old and being like, man, you know what? I ended up just watching a bunch of YouTube videos on overlanding, but I never went and I did that trip. I never went to Utah. I never went to Colorado. I never went to Wyoming. I never went out east. I never went to Canada, right? Like if you want to do those things, find a way to do it, prioritize those things in your life and enjoy them. right? So again, those are just kind of my thoughts on not regretting things and how overlanding, for me at least, has kind of been a way that I've been able to avoid regrets in my life because I got to do some really cool, interesting stuff, despite what all the haters say, despite whether or not it's really overlanding, right? So anyways, hope that was interesting for you guys. Thanks so much, again, as always, for listening, as always, for watching on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. You guys keep me going with this because I love the conversation. So post up in the comments down below if you're on YouTube and let me know your thoughts on this. Again, if you're on the podcast, hop over to my other social channels. There's links in the description down below. Join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you want. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, if you're on YouTube, below this video is a join button. That's just kind of a passive way to support the channel, get you early access to the videos and things like that. There's also a link in the description below to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers. So again, if you want something to slap on your headliner, if you want a sticker for your fridge or your windows, there's a ton of funny stuff down there. Things like don't burn your wiener and it's a hot dog, or weekend warrior and it's a jerry can. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check that out. And then if you want a more active way to be involved with the channel, there is a Patreon link down below too. And we do a 24/7 Discord where we all kind of chat about our rigs and our gear and things like that. We do a once a month Zoom call, and then we're trying to get together once or twice a year too, just to hang out around a campfire and camp. So if that sounds good, check that out. But then that'll do it for this episode. And thanks again for all of you for listening, for watching, and we'll see you next time.